How about it?
All right.
Go ahead.
Good evening. A happy and excited couple are expecting the birth of their newborn baby. So they lay down at night, and the wife nudges the husband and says, "Honey, I think it's time." They rush to the hospital. When they get to the maternity ward, the woman brings forth the child. The doctor comes and says to the father, says, "You have a bouncing baby boy." But the father notices that there's something wrong with the expression on the doctor's face. And he says, "Doctor, is everything okay?" And the doctor says, "Well, I'm concerned about your wife. She has a high fever." A few days later, the mother of the child dies. And the reason? Because the doctor did not wash his hands. The Center of Disease and Control states that keeping hands clean is one of the best ways to prevent the spread of infection and illnesses. Dr. Oliver Wendell Holmes, historically the first advocate for hand hygiene, discovered that bacteria can pass from one person to another through common contact. I will share with you today how bacteria pass from one person to another, the effects of poor hand hygiene, and the proper hand hygiene techniques. Communicable diseases can rest on surfaces up to 2 or more hours. They can rest on doorknobs, on chairs, on doors, and so they can be passed from one person to another. One of the ways that bacteria can be passed from one person to another is through fecal matter. When an individual uses the bathroom and does not wash their hands, that fecal matter can remain on their hands or underneath their fingernails, and they can then pass it from one person to another. Another way diseases and bacteria can be passed from one person to another is if a parent changes the diaper of a baby who may have diarrhea. That diarrhea can be on the hand of the parent and be passed from one person to another. Raw meats is another way in which bacteria can be passed from one person to another. Raw meats and poultry can be passed from the preparer to other foods or to another individual. Not only raw meats, but also pets. People that have exotic pets such as turtles, snakes, or other reptiles, that bacteria can be passed from one person to another. Lastly, body fluids can be passed from one person to another. Bodily fluids, when a person sneezes or coughs or rubs their eye, that secretion can be passed from one person to another. What are some of the effects? Some of the effects are illnesses that can occur. An individual can get salmonella. An individual can get MRSA. An individual can get influenza or the flu. The flu is a very serious illness. It is a virus that can be placed on a hand through a cough or a sneeze, and it has certain effects such as chills, fever, sore throat, headaches, sneezes. And the thing about the flu is that it can turn to pneumonia, and pneumonia can lead to death. Some of the other effects of not washing our hands properly is a loss of work productivity and financial impact. Christine L. Case, a professor of microbiology at Skyline College, she estimated that over 80 million cases of food poisoning occur in the U.S. each year. Greatly increases healthcare costs, loss of job productivity, and at least 10,000 deaths. The CDC states, among vaccine-preventable diseases in adults, influenza or the flu has the greatest impact on the U.S. population. The combination of the flu and pneumonia was the 8th leading cause of death in the U.S. in 2005. The overall economic burden of influenza, attributable illnesses in the U.S. to adults, $83.3 billion. Influenza is also responsible for substantial indirect costs, $6.2 billion, mainly from loss of productivity. Among adults, each year, 17 million work hours are lost due to influenza and its results. What can we do to help stem this tide? Wash our hands. Proper hand washing techniques. Number 1, use soap. Soap is important because some people just use water, and you must have a lather in order to rinse away the viruses off your hand. You need to use running water. Disposable paper towels. Use a paper towel when turning off the faucet or leaving the restroom as you turn the doorknob. When you wash your hands, wash it for at least 20 seconds. That way you know that you have caused enough friction to wash away all of the viruses. Use a hand sanitizer when you do not have soap and water. Hand sanitizers that have 60% alcohol base is effective for killing 99.9% of the germs and diseases. In my conclusion, we have come a long way in understanding the importance of proper hand washing, hygiene, but more education is needed. The flu virus can be drastically eliminated by a simple thing as washing our hands. Dr. Holmes was correct. Bacteria can pass from one person to another through simple common contact. Bacteria are communicable. Its effects have an average enormous negative effect on society. The next time you touch a door, a telephone, a doorknob, a chair, wash your hands, because the person that touched it before you may not have. Thank you.